Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's a beautiful day. It's a Saturday. So it's the 10th of May 2025. Alright, there's this particular story I want to track back a little bit. I remember that sometime in January, the Enugu State Government partnered with the Landmark Group in order to redevelop the Nike Lake Resort into a world-class holiday and leisure destination through a 35-year lease agreement. The Landmark Group plans to invest an initial 10 billion naira to upscale this resort's facilities, which will include redesigning rooms, adding luxury spas, waterfront villas, and various recreational amenities. The redevelopment is expected to generate over 5,000 direct and indirect jobs and attract local, diaspora, and international tourists, boosting Enugu State's internally generated revenue (IGR). The deal will see the 150-hectare Nike Lake Resort transformed into a modern, high-end getaway, offering premium accommodation and top-tier recreational experiences. The transformation is a part of Landmark Group's commitment to creating luxury leisure destinations across Africa. The partnership is expected to create significant financial benefits for Enugu State, including job creation and increased tourism revenue. So that's actually the summary of what this partnership would actually do. But I really don't know if you have visited Nike Lake Resort up until when Ugochi Madweke became the MD of that particular hotel. The hotel was in comatose, and that's largely because of our culture. We're in love with good things, but we have a culture of not maintaining good things, and that's the truth. I can give you several examples from our stadiums to government-owned offices. Try as much as you can to go to any government offices that you know about. It is crazy. It doesn't look like human beings live there, except for very few. The ones that you can say maybe IRS, that is the Inland Revenue Service, the federal parastatal, then their governments. When you go to the offices, you could tell a little bit that these guys, in some way, are doing okay compared to their state counterparts. It is crazy. It is telling. It's nothing to write home about. Now, government knows over time that they're not people who can manage business. And in fact, so many persons have said that there's no business in government running business. That sometimes you just have to leave it to the professionals to run businesses for you. A hotel business is actually a proper business. Nike Lake Resort is a historic site, very close to the river, and I can only imagine what that place can become if that place is properly harnessed. As in, you'll be stunned at what that place can give us in terms of revenue for the state. And up until Ugochi Madweke, now she's still in this administration though, because she was employed by the previous administration under Ugwai to be the MD of that resort. And it was her clout that was able, she was able to, salvage a few things. But before she came on board, that place was in total chaos. It was nothing to write home about. Is it food? Is it the pool? Is it the walkways? That place looks so abandoned. I'm telling you, like I visited there a few times, and it wasn't anything to write home about. Sometimes I go there for events, and you'll be looking at the place and be like, "This is not this prestigious Nike Lake Resort." If you know how people talk about Nike Lake Resort when they're not in Enugu, you'll be stunned when you come in there and see that is this the Nike Lake Resort? So because government hands are on it, you know that they are not. Government is not able to manage it. Government is not even looking for funds from that access. People just go in there, make their own monies, and they leave the place. They don't even reinvest monies or get monies back into the system. The people who are employed are not even They're not well kept. They're not looking good. Imagine somebody, looking tata to come and serve you food in their restaurant. And of course, because it's government, most of government paraphernalia, most of government agents and agencies would come there and use there for events, and they will not pay a dime. They will owe the hotel for God knows how long, and they will not want to pay. Why? Because it's government. I mean, if it was a private institution and you were supposed to make monies out of the monies, the system, you and the person who invests is not going to bring his own money and come and pump into it. You're going to find that money. You're going to sleep in the airport, or even in parks, in order to get people to come to the hotel to at least chill. So it's a commendable effort. 35 years lease is one thing a lot of persons have spoken about, that this 35 years is not too much, but look at it from the premise of government trying to get into the business of running the hotel. It's not possible. Government is too busy doing a lot of things, and managing a hotel will be the least thing in their scheme of things. So giving it to a prestigious organization like the Landmark event, because of course we know Landmark has been there for some time, and they know how to run this business, and giving them to run this business is commendable, and they have accepted to 35 years. And I saw that they have changed the name. It's no longer Nikkei Lake Resort, it's Landmark Nikkei Lake Resort. I saw them some few days ago changing the name, and it makes sense. At least those guys will invest money. They said they're investing up 10 billion, at least for the initial phase. So they would have to also make their money back. So it's a commendable one, and I hope that more of some of these concessions under government's parastatals are giving out to private firms, so that they are able to harness the strengths of that and give out the best and employ the right people in those places. It's only when we have private people run something that it makes any sense, frankly speaking. So I don't know what you think about it, but let me know in the comments what you think, whether you think it's a welcome development, or maybe you think that it's just one of those government abracadabra. And by the way, here is the executive director of Landmark speaking about the importance of having to add the Nikkei Lake Resort into their fold as one of their as one of their businesses under the conglomerate. Thank you so much. I'll be right back after this. Take care.
For us, Nikkei Lake is essentially getting it revamped and also optimized. It's for us a welcome development. We're looking forward to this partnership. We hope that this size of investment you've mentioned is going to happen immediately, and then I think that we've all, it's been a very long process. I understand that it took quite some time, but I'm happy that we've dotted all the I's and we've crossed the T's.
We make sure that this is not a small win. It's going to be a very, very big win. We're going to increase the number of jobs here. We're going to make a big dent on IGR. We intend to invest upwards of 10 billion naira within the first term of the first phase of this thing. And we believe, from an employment perspective, an SME creation perspective, from a supply chain and a value chains perspective, obviously from taxes, and from visitor numbers, not just local visitors or regional visitors, but international visitors, and the wider region. I think we'll increase those.
A number of reasons. So one obviously is in the space that we're passionate about and we have real experience in, which effectively is creating sort of leisure lifestyle destinations. We want to create a whole series of leisure lifestyle destinations along the region, literally along that West African coastline. And we've picked we've picked places based on a number of things. Obviously, one is just the environment of the space, the governance around it, and the will and the desire of that city to create a tourist attraction. 2 is the numbers and the people. And 3 is cities that have historic significance and lend themselves to creating a leisure and lifestyle environment. So Enugu falls right into that pot. There's a small emotional reason as well. I went to university in Nigeria in the Enugu campus, and this resort was opened as I was leaving in the 80s. And, you know, I would arguably say that it was probably the best tourism or tourist resort, I would say in Nigeria, probably West Africa at that time.
So it aligns in so many other ways for you as well, and as the group. So the timing is also really great, I would imagine. Timing
is great.
Right.
It's 150 hectares, it's got size, it's got scope, it's got real potential.
Well, talking about potential, let's talk about some of the specific developments planned for the initial phase of this investment.
Okay. So, I don't know how much you know about the development or the resort, but basically it's a 200-room hotel. It has a number of villas, it has a big, nice lake around it, and a lot of land with some sporting facilities and leisure facilities. So the first thing we've got to do is upgrade some of the existing facilities. And that first phase will involve the master planning and upgrading of some of these facilities. The next phase, which is probably the most important phase, is the creation of sort of the experiences and the adventures that we intend to give to the region. And then the third phase is making it part of a network. So I'm sure later in the discussion we'll talk about why this is so important as a network of things.
As we know, and you alluded to earlier, Enugu is quite the tourist attraction. But when we talk about sensitization, unfortunately, not so many Nigerians are aware of this. So we could allude to the Awum waterfall, Ngwo pine forest. These are, I haven't even been to any of those yet. And I'm sure there's an abundance of that. How do you intend to attract up to 2 million visitors annually to Enugu State with this project?
That's a great question. For those who read Frederick Forsyth's book, Frederick Forsyth basically called Enugu the most beautiful city in the world, and you've given some of the reasons, but it's a lot of it's about the terrain and the people. I think he used to be the capital of the sort of East Central region at the time. So in terms of bringing people, so as a company, our currency is people, is footfall. So we do 3 things. 1 is bring as many people to a place as possible. 2 is give them amazing experiences and enough things to do. And 3 is make sure that they have such a great time that they go back and tell other people. So how are we going to bring these 2 million people? We're going to provide experiences, we're going to provide adventure, we're going to provide things for them to do. Excuse me.
That's all right.
We're going to provide big attractions, and it's bit by bit. In Lagos, when we started, it was sort of 200, 300, 400,000 people. By the end of 2023, we were inviting, if you like, or we were servicing 4.5 million people. So we like to believe Enugu has almost 1 million people in population. The state itself has almost 5 million people. The region has 50 million people. And we will create a resort with such a vibe that I think people will come from all over the country and all over the region. And as I said, we're going to connect all our resorts together by air, by sea, and by land. So we'll do it.
So you're going to be looking at, let's say, experiential planned tours and things like that for those that will be visiting and getting the first experience, which will, of course, sell itself then because there's a lot of potential.
No, absolutely.
Right. But talking about potential, we can't talk about that without looking at employment opportunities. Let's get a little more granular about the scope of this project in relation to employment.
Yeah, so this is one of the things we do, and I'll say there are 3 key things, and impact is one of them. And when you talk about impact, employment is probably right at the top of the list of impact. In terms of employment, so even in Lagos, we created employment for 4,500 people, right? And in a country that has a dependency rate of 16:1, you imagine what that does in terms of just the accelerator effect. I mean, Enugu, we expect by the time we finish this, we will create employment opportunities of about 4,000 to 5,000 directly, and probably about 4 or 5 times that indirectly. As you can imagine, the supply chain. So whether it's things like the water that's drank, the chicken that's cooked, the cups and the spoons, and so the supply chain actually sees. And there's an SME sort of accelerator program because a lot of SMEs provide services to us. So we don't rent out spaces. And what we effectively do is we bring small businesses to partner with it and provide services on the platform that we create. We don't charge them rents. We take from them effectively sales rent. So it's a top line revenue share. So we provide the environment, and we try to get the best of each of these businesses, whether it's food and beverage or experience-related businesses or sports-related businesses. They provide the services, we provide the enabling environment, we share in the revenues, they employ as many people as possible.
So certainly this will have a spillover effect into internally generated revenue. Could we speak to some of the projected numbers around that, just hypothetically at this point?
So it's a tough one, but I think you can fairly say, so His Excellency Governor Dr. Peter Mba has gone on record that he's trying to raise that IGR to I think $30 billion. Within this environment, we believe that we'll create at least, I would say, within the supply chain or the value chain, we're probably in the 200 to 300 billion naira IGR impact.
Well, that's quite an attractive one. The potential is key there.
It's huge.
We can see that. But let's look at long-term projects now. How does the dualization of the Enugu Opi Nsukka, and correct me if I don't pronounce that correctly, align with this resource development?
Your geography is astonishing.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
So central Enugu and Nsukka, Nike is literally on the way. And that whole road program has actually started. So the dual carriageway is just literally a few kilometers away from the gates of the Nike Lake Resort at the moment. And so the full dualization of that road, it will do a number of things. And Nsukka has a population of almost 1 million people as well. Enugu of 1 million people. So it literally connects all these people together. So in terms of trying to get to those numbers of 2 million people a year visitors, that will provide a good incentive. But most importantly, places like this rely on 3 things. One is access, infrastructure, that's transport, people being able to get in and get out. 2 is beauty, and 3 is security. So those 3 things are incredibly important for a tourism business to survive.
And we're going to have all of those in there, so it's going to be pretty turnkey.
There is a huge commitment to have all those things.
All right, so that's great, very promising there. But let's talk about Landmark Africa Group as an entity in itself.
Yes.
You've done really well, we have to say, over the last few years. A number of years, actually, you've got staying power, but let's talk about your expansion plans. Any on the horizon?
Yes, a lot.
For Africa?
A lot. So West Africa. So a little bit about the history of our organization. We started as a European organization, imported ourselves into Africa. We were in 17 different cities or 17 different locations. And then we sold all that in 2015 and focused in Lagos. Obviously, we all know what happened. Now we've decided to take the best parts of our business, take the experiences that we've had, right? And figure out a way of diversifying. So over the last 8 months, we've looked and done incredible research across West Africa, and we've handpicked 12 different locations that we feel tick all the boxes. To be fair, many of those locations are opportunity-led because they're either governments or platforms that encourage tourism to an extremely high degree. And then they tick all the boxes. So those locations, we've tied up quite a number of them, about I think 4 or 5. And over the next few weeks, we'll be making a few more announcements. So Nike Lake falls right in that and is one of the anchors of that. Obviously, we've announced our Port Harcourt beach show as well. So the whole idea is to create leisure lifestyle locations across this West African region, across the coast, connect them by sea, air and land. We've already had talks with an airline company that we'll do packages with and have all-inclusive resorts. So the airline company is extremely motivated. They've already talked about bringing 2 new planes in to help connect these things. We've talked with a European cruise company that does Mediterranean cruises. And right now, the only place they stop is in Gambia. We were going to bring that cruise along and stop in a couple of places in Nigeria. So we'll soon have a few announcements on those 2 places that will stop, and we'll bring those people infield. Now, to understand that whole cruise line industry, some of these ships have 3,000 to 5,000 people on board. And the great thing about them is they don't come out and buy clothes and perfumes and things. They buy local things, local foods, local trinkets. So the millions of dollars they bring into the economy is one-way money.
Right? Absolutely.
And it creates a lot of employment for those local people.
Yes.
So that's really what we want to do. We want to create a set of leisure and lifestyle resorts and connect all of them. So whether you have sports tours or music